I need to I need to fly a lot of places, man. The tickets are cheap. I got the vaccine. I really just want to be like Ted Cruz. He catches flights, not feelings.
Yeah, don't. I don't think anybody has ever said in the history of histories that I want to be like Ted Cruz. So that's already where you're messing up. I think you should stay still. Just stay still. The tickets are cheap for a reason because they know they can get you out there, but you might not be able to get back. Like that's just it.
I be on Instagram. I want to go to Tulum.
Yes, yes.
Where is Tulum?
Everybody went to Tulum. It's in Mexico. Everybody went there because it is very much open. I mean, I'm not gonna knock anybody for doing what they do. I will say, just how about we just stay still and let this thing just get over with? Like, just get it over with.
You telling me that I should stay still? Who the fuck are you?
Yes, what? Just a guy trying to make sure that we all get through this. I mean, look at the week that Houston had. We went from Valentine's Day to freezing to snow.
Yeah.
Remember that morning when everybody was like, "Oh, it snowed, yay!" And then "Oh, there's no power." I was checking. I was literally I mean, this is sad as my personal. I was in the bathroom in the dark with the candle, looking at my phone with the last bit of juice I had when I saw Cruz had escaped, and I was like, "Dog, I don't." Anger wasn't the word. You get so mad that it's funny. That's how I felt. Like I was like laughing. I was laughing maniacally by candlelight. I was like, "Your boy, you left." That if things went left for me, that's my villain origin story. Like that right there. And I'm pretty sure there's some villain origin stories that happened this last week. Like people need to get taken care of.
When the power went out and I was driving around, it was like 2 a.m. I almost died too, but I don't want to say it because parents are listening.
All right. Yeah. You can tell me that one later.
Yeah. But 2 a.m, I'm looking at the skyline. It's just lit up. And it's like, man, it was annoying. It was maddening. My friends like, they're on generators and all that. I'm like, all right. But blah, blah, blah. Fair enough. One of the things that I thought was funny, though, I saw a meme that was like, yo, Monday, imagine going out on Sunday and then, it's Valentine's Day and then thinking you get a Plan B pill and the next day it couldn't happen.
Hey, it's happening.
72 hours?
Happening.
You get it? There's going to be so many babies being born.
My goodness. It's happening. Weather babies. It happens. We're all humans.
It is what it is. We are all humans. Even though, 2020 was bad, 2021 looks good. The future's looking bright and the opposite of black and ugly as ever. However, I stay Houston down to my socks. There's another episode of In My Humble Opinion podcast, where the opinions are humbled and the words are not jumbled. And we're here to thank you for taking time out of your day to check us out. I am your host, Avery, like a very nice guy, also known as Avery Zadius, one word, on all socials. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I live on Instagram. If you watch the show, you probably have been on my Instagram. My Instagram stories are the greatest thing. And yeah, once again, I said I thank you for being able to listen to us on audio or visual, not just with me, but with my brother, Just Devon, ladies and gentlemen. Just Devon.
Yeah, that's me. It's Just Devon. That's all I do. Just Devon. There's nothing fancy about me.
He's very fancy. He wears a black hoodie all the time. And you could find him at Just Devon on Twitter and at Dr. Douglas on IG. And he's one of the greatest writers I've ever met. He's going to let me love him. He's going to talk just lesson. He writes great articles for the Houston Press and other publications as well. And you could find us at My Humble O on everything. And you could find us on streaming in My Humble Opinion podcast. We're on DSPs and we're also on YouTube. So if you're not familiar with us, once again, we do highlight guests that are in Houston that do amazing works when it comes to art, when it comes to business. But one thing today, Our guest today is we have an artist hailing from Houston by way of Chicago. She is the only daughter of Nigerian immigrant parents who uses poetry mixed with vocals in order to make us live through her lyrics. Rapper, singer, composer, actress, movie lover, and you could check out her project, A Room Full of Mirrors. It also has a few people like Punch from TDE, Daylyt, who will bar you up, given the opportunity, Nick Grant, and a few others to name a few, which you could find on a roomfulofmirrors.com. Side note, I have to admit, one of the cool things that I really did like is when you do put in your email on a room full of mirrors, it says bet to confirm that you put in the email. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. That was live. So her music and her name prove it will all be well. With her project, Misdirection on all DSPs, Lyric Michelle, ladies and gentlemen. Lyric Michelle. Yeah, with the hair.
Wow. Yeah, that was a dope intro. I appreciate you.
We appreciate you. I appreciate your hair. You making me mad. I'm bald, so I'm jealous.
Hey, you know what I mean? They got men wigs, or
Yeah.
they doing stuff. Yeah. So how are you?
Doing great. How are you though?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Actually, I'm all right. You say you're good just because.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I know. You just say it because people.
I'm about to say it's like the nice thing to say. Are you really good?
Yeah. Nah, I'm straight. Do you mind if I smoke?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
You
smoke.
can
Do what you want.
Smoke.
Nah, I'm straight. It's just so I'm not able to come back to Houston right now.
Yeah.
Because flights and everything.
Yeah.
So it's been hard kind of seeing things, not being able to. It's not like I could do anything while I was there. Like, I know people, family members, and that are sick and everything that's going on right now. But things are leveling out and everyone's alive. That thank God that are close to me, that, you know what I mean, right now. And so shit's looking up. So
yeah. Things are definitely leveling out.
2020 is looking up. I think there's a narrative of people being like, it's 2020 continued. I'm like, no, there's a few bad things. Let's get this negative energy out, and we can only focus on the positive to move up.
Right. It's like, I don't know why we thought, like time really exists, like something was gonna change, but it's still a good reset just to reevaluate, you know what I mean, this new year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, recalibrate. But I agree with you. It's not like it was stops like 2020, it's done. It was like,
you're like, yeah, once that changes, all the bad stuff stops.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what's the clock? It's like, nah, it's, you're right. Time is subjective.
The world's been trash since 1984.
That's the year you were born.
I know.
1984, huh? That's you started in 1984?
My whole life. I was born in 84. My entire life. That's what I know. I don't know about 1983.
Wow. Wow. It was good for like 4 years. I was 1980 and then you came 1984. So
you love me though.
But we're talking about our lives. Let's get to the life of our guest. Lyric, you are and we're gonna jump around, but we want to go back just talking about your full history. You're from Chicago, but you're basically raised in Houston.
I came to Houston at the end of second grade, so I was raised here from third grade on up. Eldridge, we moved, then we stayed off of Fondren for a bit, and then eventually in Stafford. But we came here really because, Chicago in the 80s, early 90s was, 90s, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents, there was some shit happened, and we had to basically flee. So it's like on some refugee shit. Again, as like a daughter of immigrant parents. But Houston is where I found everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Myself, my groove, my essence, or whatever.
Now, there are a lot of interesting things that I find, when we're doing research about you, but it was just like, just coming up with the name Lyric Michelle, and you know what, your name in general, just saying like, hey, I have a name, but my parents, they named me Michelle for some reasons. So let's talk about that, and then we'll just kind of move forward.
Yeah, so my name is Lyric Michelle. You know how y'all doing? I'm a poet, MC, but lyricist first and foremost, of many names. But yeah, what you're talking about is like Michelle was the name that my parents gave me, my father specifically. But usually, like a traditional, Nigerian parent will give you the traditional name as your first name, and maybe having the call like American name as your middle name, or a name that symbolizes something as your middle name, like Melody or something like that, or Hope. But my dad had such a rough time coming here to this country after like fleeing from, Nigeria, because of the civil unrest. He just thought Michelle was just a nice name that
like
no one would
something to not
mispronounce.
rock the boat.
Right, it wouldn't rock the boat. Maybe they wouldn't be able to tell that I was so different, especially because he drove a cab and my mom worked at a gas station at the time. So when we were in Chicago, so it was like 6 of us in a 1 bedroom. But he worked all day, all night, and he put us in a private school. So it's just like me and one other Black girl in the school. So he just was just really concerned for, our safety, for our happiness, I guess. So then that takes us to Orgadima. So he put the traditional name in the middle. So my middle name is Orgadima, which is so funny. Like, I grew up not wanting to tell people my name. So I thought Orga, was too harsh.
Really?
And, you're not supposed to be harsh. I was already African and dark and big lip, big wide nose. I was like, so much.
Yeah.
They said. But he gave me that name because when we were in Chicago, we weren't really sure how we were gonna eat. And I wasn't necessarily expected, but he just thought it was like a gift and a kind of a symbol from God to say that it will all be well. So that's what Orgadima means. Like, if it will all, everything, it will be okay.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
No.
Then Lyric came. I am an overthinker, if you haven't figured it out.
Really?
Yeah, think a lot.
Me too.
All these thoughts.
Me too.
Lyric
Don't feel bad.
From after high school, when I started doing poetry, during school too, really just poetry. And then it wasn't until like 2012, I guess, 2012, where I started rapping. 2011, there you go, where I started rapping. And I put Lyric Michelle together because Lyric, she is me, taking the stage and doing poetry gave me voice. And it was crazy how people were so interested in what I had to say when I was on that stage, and how easily I could be me. So Michelle, who was born out of fear, Lyric rose from a pride untapped, and she holds Michelle. and together we bring you.
Lyric Michelle.
Yeah.
So you view it as like Lyric is more of, I guess, well, actually, no. Let me not speak for you. Which one do you feel is you, Lyric or Michelle?
You know, I'm interested though in your take because I know the answer.
Okay, so I would think that Lyric seems to be, I guess, more you. Not that Michelle is not, but Lyric is what's inside of you more, and that's what gets to come out. And normally you operate as Michelle. That would be my guess, but again, I'm not a psychiatrist or anything of a jest. So, like, how do you see it? Like, how do you rectify the two?
I see Lyric and Michelle as one and the same. And but I appreciate your take only because I think that is the response. Sorry, it's kind of
no, it's okay.
wild out here.
As long as they're not looking for you.
Yeah, I mean, we're about to sell these records though. We about to come up.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel. I mean, I know. So Lyric and Michelle are one and the same, and Michelle, she is fearful and she is anxious, and she is genuinely in pursuit of unbridled love in every moment. And Lyric is prideful and stubborn and filled with discernment and extremely protective and loud and boisterous and angry. And I think sometimes I love her, and I think sometimes though we can't confuse being loud and bold with the real version of me. Right, because I feel like there's no real version of me but the one I express in this moment, and that depends on many things. So like, fuck you if you think you know who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Devon.
No, not you.
I'm just playing. I'm playing.
The esoteric you.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
You have a lot of those themes that came out in and your, I don't want to call it a debut, but it's a debut where we're talking about that first album, and that first album actually got attention. I mean, it won your lyricist in the Houston Press. Just shout out because I've written for him. But it also is one of those things too where Houston as a whole is a city that has a let's not say stigma. It has a particular, like, this is the kind of music we do. So I always like to see the artists that are like, I like that music. I do. I also do this, and this is great as well. And so when you would see that, there's like a confidence that is with that. Tell us about you. I guess the reception you felt from releasing that first album.
So yeah, releasing Misdirection was it was a dream. It was amazing. Like, just to be able to set a goal, and like I didn't come up with like a group of rappers or whatnot, or like I spent a lot of time alone or trying to get out of certain situations. So a lot of living got in the way of focusing or being able to create a team or being able to catch on with a team. So doing that show was really just stretching all of my ideas at the time and seeing that it's possible even if I have to do it alone.
Okay.
Like from selling the tickets to promoting, and then at the moment where I think it's possible, even though I can do it alone, which is very, very, very true. Because at times we do have to go on it, on this journey alone. At the moment I realized that, I also realized I'm not alone, because all of it, we sold out. And then when I look in the crowd, I see like all my people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm not alone. You're not alone. So it just was like, it's just a culmination of just like, it was proof, I guess, for the first time for me, like that I can do this, and the reception, I didn't really expect it. Like not, because like my people don't really, my parents didn't really, fuck with the whole, I'm a rapper, what am I, like,
Yeah.
So my dad reads he's old school, so he reads the paper like every morning still. So when that happened, I was on the front page. So that was kind of cool too, because it was like affirmation that this thing, or just a little reminder to him that this thing is real, that I'm part.
Oh snap!
Oh wait. So I mean, we're talking about like, and I will say this: it's something about your parents might not be on board for a lot of stuff, but it's something about seeing a paper, like something they can relate to. What was that like when they're like, oh, okay, like like, it don't matter how much stuff was on the internet, it don't matter what rapper might have said, yo, lyrics the best. It's something about being in a paper where they're like, oh, you're really doing this. So what do your parents say?
You're right. I mean, that was the feeling. I mean, it wasn't there wasn't like complete belief, but it was more tangible, and it was my first time where I don't think my dad congratulated me, but he said hello, like congratulations.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
hello, hi, okay, I see
Yeah.
you. So that was cool. But yeah, man, it just, and I just didn't, I also didn't realize how many people would relate, because I thought it was such a specific story, my story.
Mm-hmm.
So it also gave me fuel to continue to go, like this needs to be, this needs to be discussed more.
Yeah.
Like, just being a young Black girl in the game, trying to get it, like, that shit's a very specific and different, unique type of struggle and triumph. And so that was cool. But on the other side of it, I don't know what to do with this. I'm just gonna
Just let it be. Just let it be. It adds.
Good.
On the other side, it's I kind of thought, like, bam, you know what I mean? Like, cause I came up doing ciphers, you know what I mean? Like battle rapping bit, you know what I mean? But mostly it's ciphers and open mics, North Side, Houston, like SF2 and South Side and Southwest Side. But like, so I was like, okay, I'm on the paper, it's #1 type shit. Yeah. #1 lyricist. They said not female, they just said lyricist is what they said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was just waiting for my phone to start, like, and I just realized there was a lot more work to do.
Oh, okay.
And that's a big thing where it's gaining. You hear that from, we've talked to a number of guests that are like, you get this certain level of success and then you're like, all right, yes. And then now it's like, oh wait, now I got to figure out how I'm gonna get this work. Like, you know what I mean? So after the release of that and you see the reception, you're getting the awards, at one point you performed when the Super Bowl was down here, right?
Yeah, that shit was,
Yeah.
yeah. That was the first like real experience like that. Like just we performed on the same stage as Solange and like just I think Robert Glassberg was there too with them, and Cam Franklin suffers sweetheart, and so there were times that I realized um, that I had to start forming a balance between appreciating, being grateful, you know what I mean, for these new things in life, and and being mindful of my patience, you know,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
so that really helped me realize like, okay, I am headed towards the right path, but I got to continue doing it how I did it, you know what I mean, with my hands. So it was also a blessing to be able to get that like response, and just to have that time to even though it wasn't a mistake, but that little trip in my mind that let me get a little comfortable, even if it was just in my mind for a second, so it won't happen again.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, at what point were you saying like, you know what, it's time? I should probably just go ahead and go to another city. Like I might need to go ahead and start branching out into some other stuff. That's something that I think a lot of artists, especially in Houston, kind of wrestle with, and they go back and forth. Some stay here and push it, some move and push it, some move and come back, some stay here and eventually move. But it is something that I feel like all artists at a point have to. It's a question that you're going to ask yourself. So, at what point did you ask that question, and then when did you? What made you make the decision?
It's funny. It was like the decision was made for me. It's like, so I never originally thought of leaving. Like I once thought I was going to go to New York, really, but when the time came, I just didn't leave. But I had the show, and if I don't know nothing, I know that I just can't repeat anything twice.
Okay.
So if I have a show that sells out at 400, then I need a show that sells out at 7.
Yeah.
And that takes more resources. So I just knew, you know what I mean? And not just 700, but something, I just knew that there was something else, which I tend to trust, because that's how I found any of this stuff, just listening to that frequency. And it's, so that thought was in my mind, and there was an issue that I won't get into too much, but where I was threatened.
Oh wow,
man.
So I went to, so I went to the HPD, and they weren't very helpful.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They weren't helpful at all.
Yeah.
Actually, they were harmful.
Yeah.
And I had no recourse. So I just was fed up. And then my best friend's old roommate's best friend was like she was thinking about moving to LA. And I was done with college, and I had done the show. I put out the project. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. So I never wanted to think to myself that I had to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
to make it, or I had to, because I didn't know what I was looking for. But I think it was just the way my path, is. Because either way, when I'm out here, I'm still doing the things I would do out there. Like I still have to edit. I still have to, like that website you like. I still have to I edit that shit. Yeah, I still have to think of it. Like you still have to turn to work. I'm still just sitting here, working. Shit's closed, so and even when it was open, like, I mean, it's nice. I do love LA. And I've met amazing people here, like people who are like from here. You know what I mean? From here, from Watts, from Carson, from LA. So I think that's what it's about. When you're an artist and trying to figure out what you should do in your next move, and should you leave, I think if the reason you're not moving is because of fear, then you just go the opposite of fear. If something makes you scared, then that might be the thing you should do. But maybe, So if you're super comfortable, but you're trying to do something you've never done before, think about how you feel when you do things you've never done before. If it doesn't make you feel that way, then that's not the path. So I think
going out to LA kind of gave you that feeling of fear, but like a good fear.
Yeah, because it's not like I've never, not like had a place to stay before. I didn't, had to figure it out before. So I felt like it was weird, honestly. And I'm grateful for my friends and loved ones and fans and supporters who congratulated me for the move. But it didn't feel like nothing. It felt like I got on the plane and I got a lease. Like I didn't do nothing yet.
That was it. Yeah, that's all it took.
But I do get it, because it's a scary idea.
Yeah.
To build something and to be rewarded for what you built. But to know it's not quite the sculpture you're done with yet. To keep going. So that shit, I see. Yeah, it's scary. I can see it.
I mean, I can understand like people giving the congratulations, but I also understand you're like, yo, I just moved.
Yeah, nigga, I felt guilty, nigga. I was like, God damn, I gotta do something now. Like,
yeah. And you know what? Let's not even sugarcoat it. You started doing stuff like you got out there, and shortly after, we were seeing you were with the ad campaign for Nike.
Yeah.
So, like, how did that come about?
Well, that was wild and random. So, that's the other cool thing about LA, just because, before everything was everything. Just because there's a lot of people that come here for a dream. So there's just a lot of brainstorming just everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's condensed, especially in certain circles. So I was at a bar with my homegirl, Waverly. Shout out to her for inviting me. And I met this guy there. And I thought he was trying to hit on me. He was like, "Hey, what's your name? He was funny. I was like, all right, chill out. You know what I mean? I'm married to the music. But I gave my number, whatever. So he texted me and was like, just small talk. And I'm not good with small talk. So I was just like, but then he's a good guy. So I thought, I also don't know anything in LA, like, a friend or some shit. And he was like, have you ever would you ever think about running a marathon? I'm like, yeah. Why? Because I don't say no to things. But did I ever really think about running a marathon? I mean, I did not think about running a marathon. Does that count?
Yeah.
So I said, yeah. And he was like, oh, dope. Well, blah, 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 blah. Told me that he worked for Nike. They're doing this campaign. They're looking for women of all different types just who were chasing their dreams in different avenues, and with all sorts of followings, because it was just really about individual stories, and like it just changed my life. It was crazy. We got to go to all the top facilities, like where, you know, the Lakers like fucking, you know, work out and shit. Like we got to I love to be active. I've always been in sports or a league of some sort every year, from flag football to basketball, track and shit. So it was great just to be able to be with these women who were so sweet and kind and excited about moving around. You know, so I'm not a great runner.
Really?
So let's not leave here thinking like, you know what I mean? But I think that was the point for me. Because, you know, it was fearful. Like I said, the fuck, a marathon? All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you actually went through the process.
Yeah, because also that I was like, so okay, if I run this marathon, then what? Like, what that mean? So like we had 6 months, and they trained us twice. It started with 3 times a week, and they gave us nutrition plans, and then it went to 2 times a week. So I could have never. Not once I could have never done it. I want to say that I give a lot of love and respect to people who train on their own. You know what I mean? Who just say, I'm going to run a marathon, and go online and study on what to do, because you have to train for a marathon. You can't just, there's no half step in it. You transform your body for a marathon, no matter who you are. Like, and the transformations might look different depending on what your goals are, but you transform your body, like just the endurance in itself. Like, really imagine if you were at your house chilling, and you needed to go to Walmart real quick, right? And then you looked up and it said the Walmart was 26.2 miles. Would you drive there? Would you go? You're like, fuck, this is not why is this even coming up on my map shit. Yeah. So
that's how long the marathon was?
Yeah, 26.2 miles.
Oh my goodness.
But it was cool because I since I left Chicago, I wasn't able to go back because you know, shit costs money. So so them being able to, like, they flew us out. So it's the first time I'm back in Chicago. And then I used the flights that they arranged to set up a 3-city tour. Instead of having them fly me out back to LA, I had them fly me back to New York. And I flew myself back to LA, and I booked shows in between the days we were there. Just kind of take advantage. It was so dope. So like I got to really see, like, I'm just a little bit more Chicago, like, with clear eyes, you know?
Yeah, as an adult.
Yeah.
No, that's dope. That's dope. So see, and that's you using those circles out in LA. You kind of you stumbled into the Nike world.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and there's so many worlds. LA is a really good example of, I think one of the good examples. LA. Like, I haven't been to many places. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna talk about another world that you stumbled in.
Yeah.
Actually, no, we're gonna talk about a world you're in. I don't know how you got in it. We're gonna ask how you got into it.
Go ahead. What's up?
Punch from TDE. That's going to be a big question. And the reason why I think Punch from TDE is important is because TDE has a history of course, the track records. You know, we all know Kendrick Lamar, we all know Schoolboy Q and whatnot. But I feel like for people that are really in the know, Punch appears to be doing an A&R style of, I see talent and we're going to work with talent for however long it takes, you know, to the point where, you know, he's got LeBron on Twitter like, when are you releasing this? When it's like, I'm going to release it when it's time to release it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to work with this artist. I don't care what y'all see. I know what I see. And so I think that's a huge thing for any artist that gets recognized by Punch. So again, not to like, of course we're bigging you up because this is your interview. But
nah, go ahead. Nah, President Punch, nigga, keep going.
All right, then. So tell us about meeting Punch CDE and how that works out, and just you guys working together now.
Yeah, like all the things you said, that's who he is. How I got to meet him was, like I said, one of the reasons I even did the marathon was just in that pursuit of not resting until I was tuned into a frequency that was brand new and extremely challenging. So the marathon was an exercise in that shit, really, in the meantime, because I didn't know what else to do. So right while that was happening towards the end of it, Punch hit me. I think he liked one of my pictures or something on Instagram. And because I also did, I don't go like when shit was open. I didn't go a month, really a weekend, but a month without doing some type of show, some type of open mic, some type of something, just to continue, while working on music and just trying to figure out what the next play was. So when Punch hit me, I was like, this nigga like one with picture. You know what I mean? I was sending my mixtape. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So I'm not even gonna lie to you. So he liked it. So I hit him. I was like, hey, hi, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'm a rapper from this and that. And honestly, I feel bad. I didn't know too much about him. I mean, I knew he popped up. I knew he popped up. Oh shit, my phone's about to die. Hold up. No, we good.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know if we're good. We'll see. I'm lying to you. It's not plugged up yet.
I was about to say, you seem like you want 1%. I know you want 1%. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so we're gonna have to get close.
It's all good. It's what the fans want. No, don't make that face. Don't make that face. It's what the fans want.
See this mud. Okay. There you go. So I didn't know too much about him as far as like being the president, because I don't also
This is awesome.
I think you're still good though.
You're still good.
As long as nothing lights on fire, we're fine.
Yes.
Like, you're good.
Oh, that is a good pitch.
So I'll also follow like execs or anything, because I don't know. I follow musicians and artists, and I also knew the thing I was looking for was a space to not have to, especially in a time where it's all about like the fucking algorithms and ads and shit and everything outside of the music. I knew that I needed to make sure somehow to have my music heard by a lot of people without having to myself convert to, you know what I mean, to distract the art by like just focusing on all this bullshit. So I never even tried. So Punch started inviting me to the studio, and we were just chilling and playing his music, and yeah, it went from there, from advice to we started recording the records, so Daylyt started coming around, and that was dope. Cause my brother, like we watched battle rap, and my brother, I told him like I made a song with Daylyt. He was like, "Oh, that's dope, man." And, but is he nice to you? I was like, she's like, yeah, Daylyt's a sweetheart, man. So it was cool. Everyone started coming around, and I think also because at the beginning, I didn't know too much about Punch or his involvement. Really, he's every day was brand new to me. Like, I didn't know what to expect. Like, I didn't even know that we went to like some of the, like, I don't know, biggest studios in LA, and I never knew to think that that's something I would like to do one day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of cool things. But at the same time, because it just became a space, like, we're all loners, you know what I mean? Everyone had their own path and has their own path. But because it was also just so regular, like so chill. It was so chill. I think one time I was like, nigga, you don't have like an entourage or something? Like, is this how this, like, you're a rapper, huh? I didn't know, like, I thought, I mean, no disrespect, I thought I was in the industry. Cause, like, nigga, I put on shows, motherfucker, like, I sell shit. Fuck you, I'm not in the industry. This is an industry. And so respect and to all independent artists like myself and everyone that's still doing on their own, because I think sometimes the industry discounts that there is an entire industry going on of independent artists that are doing well, that are there's a circuit that I was fine in being in the but it was also a cool experience to go into a studio with Eminem recorded and to go into these places that are like kind of historical in a way, like monuments to like great shit. So it was cool. It became like I said, like it's just a haven to create. And the Room Full of Mirrors came because in between making records or playing records, we were just kind of talking about our journeys and talking about our perspectives, and we just saw a lot of reflections, you know.
And then let's talk about that, because there are two major things that I still feel like we need to get at is what is Room Full of Mirrors, and then what are you working on now in terms of an actual project?
Yeah.
So tell us about Room Full of Mirrors, because we want people to know, because it looks cool. So tell people what it is, so they know what they're getting into.
Right. All right. Well, I'll ask you again. What's your impression from what it looks like, if you don't mind?
It looked like initially when I was first looking at it, like this behind the scenes creation of something. And it also looked like a really like the it makes me, that's why I kind of linked the two together, as in what is it that you're working on, because it's like it makes me want to be like, okay, not just you but the other people as well, what are y'all working on and what is coming out, because y'all are putting all this work into something. We just want to know what it is. So yeah, that's how I looked at it as.
Like you're the Riddler and you left behind some clues.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, that's what we got. That's we are a collective of artists working on a piece that I would soon like to show you. And I can't say this. I do know we're releasing something this week. So
awesome.
You know, we're just a collective of artists that came together, especially, you know what I mean, in this time. It was towards the end of 2019. I mean, going into 2020. So it was a time, like in this music and in these visuals and what we're trying to convey, is to capture this time where we were our truest selves.
Yeah.
You know, and with all the beauty and ugly that comes with that. So yeah, all right. So we're making.
So Room Full of Bears, we got that. That is art.
Yeah.
Everybody should definitely go take a look at Room Full of Bears.
Yeah.
As an artist, I mean, just as a solo artist in general, though, what is the are we doing more stuff with Punch? Are we doing stuff with Rockaway? Are you putting together an album? What is it that you have coming out just on your own, if you can talk about it?
Yeah, so I'm definitely working on another project that I think I'm almost done with. I just got like one more record I wanna finalize. And Rockaway, you know what I mean, still got him working with me, and I'm working with Hari as well from Room for Mirrors. But like, yeah, and Punch, you know, he's managing me, but more importantly, like, again, creating a space where I can really just utilize resources I might not have had before, you know what I mean, to really get these visions out. It's crazy because, like, for a long time, I'd spent a lot of time in my head planning.
Okay.
You know, for this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So he's the guy that helps me find the paint. You know what I mean?
Oh, good.
So
Yeah.
what's it like now that you said you spent a long time planning for all of this? What is it like now that you're seeing the steps of the plan start to get laid out? Like, it's one thing to be planning, and it's another thing when those plans start becoming things like you're doing. So what is the feeling now that things are happening?
It was weird, honestly. I know you're supposed to say like it was all great, but it was weird just because I also quit my job for the first time. I was a nurse, and so it's the first time I'm doing my art full time. And then the world shut down.
Yeah.
So there wasn't the normal self-care or the normal, you know what I mean, just human contact. And so being independent and empowered at this moment is extremely interesting. So it's been wonderful and challenging and beautiful and weird. But yeah, I'm just trying to write about it, I guess. Yeah.
It should make good for the album. So you got, but something from Room Full of Mirrors is going to be coming out soon.
Yes.
Okay, so we got something from Room Full of Mirrors coming out soon. Then we've got more stuff that is going to be coming out for you. For our audience, let our audience know like where they can find you on everything. You know, find your albums, find your Instagram, all social stuff. Just let people know how they can get more Lyric Michelle.
Well, you can find me, what's up, at I Am Lyric on Instagram and Twitter, but you can also go to lyricmichelle.com or lyricmichellemusic.com. And, you know, I will rap to feed, so you can find me on Cash App at I Am Lyric. Where else? Yeah. And you can find me here.
On In My Humble Opinion podcast.
My Humble Opinion podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you, baby. You can find it right here. Huh?
I like that. Thank you. I like that.
Yeah, that's all.
That's awesome. It's always a positive thing. We really want to thank you for coming out. Well, really staying in, Lyric. You were able to give us, all the information, what's going on with you. And we appreciate it. And we appreciate everybody for listening. Once again, that's been Lyric Michelle. And this has been In My Humble Opinion podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Avery Zadius, also known as Avery Like a Very Nice Guy. And we have your host, Devon. Just Devon on Twitter.
Yeah. They'll give me my stuff later on. Who knows? We'll
and he's Dr. Douglas on everything else, guys. Once again, you can listen to us at In My Humble Opinion podcast on everything. Humbly yours, In My Humble Opinion. H-Town too sweet, H-Town too sweet.